What do most people get wrong about your country? Thinking we're Switzerland. I said Sweden, but don't wanna be rude and correct while you tell a story about how you liked the Alps. No, I'm not from Slovakia. I'm from Slovenia. 2 different countries. Exclamation mark. Ah. From Bratislava then? Exclamation mark. Train coming soon. Next year. We don't all wear kilts and chase haggis. I've been to Scotland. It was just gloom and golf course. It's not fucking winter 365 days a year, Canada. Just fucking 364 days a year. There's that one hot day in August. Robin Hood probably wasn't from here. More likely Lincolnshire. Edit, my dumb Buttered County FFS. I didn't even realize Robin Hood was a real person until I visited Nottingham. He may have been a real person. It's still debated. We don't actually live upside down. No. Really? Stranger Things or Australia? It must be Stranger Things, because everyone knows Australia is not real. Edit, thanks for my first award. We live pretty normal lives in South Africa. It's not Mad Maximum on the roads. We are not Czechoslovakia. We're the Czech Republic. It's been decades since we split from Slovakia, guys. I talked to a guy recently that thought Yugoslavia was still a country. Does he have some harsh spoilers ahead? That everyone talks like the Queen. There are 2 people in Britain. 1. Yes, that sounds delightful, Sue. Let's have tea near Buckingham Palace with Barbara. 2. You fkin what mate. Let's drink Budweiser outside One Stop with Mark. I believe these subspecies are called Posh and Roadman. They usually think that the whole country is inside Amazon forest and we share life with monkeys on daily basis. We have others forests here, like Atlantic Forest. Okay, get your monkeys straight. Wait, they think monkeys are gay? That we live in the desert and ride camels to schools, and that we get buried in pyramids. Egypt. Snails and frog legs are very uncommon. Baguette isn't though. We eat those almost every day. Yeah. Also omelette du fromage isn't a thing. Omelette say fromage are delicious though. That the Netherlands only consists of Amsterdam. Everyone knows that Netherlands consist of netherrack. r/unexpected Minecraft. They think Mexico is a desert shithole. But no. We also have forest, beaches, mountains. Still a shithole though. Breaking Bad told me it's all seen in a piss yellow filter. This better be true, also help me. Sepia is a nicer term than piss yellow. I'm not living there anymore. But not all of people in my homeland are named Ivan. Not all of them wear a shank a whole year. Even in their apartments. Not all of them drink vodka for breakfast. Not all. That implies that a part does. Right? Most do. I'm from Turkey and we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Of course not. You are Thanksgiving. How socialist Norway's? Yes, we have a strong government. But we have a blended economy with a lot of capitalism. It drives me crazy how American media describes us. A lot of our resources are privatized, and it is easy to start a company. People also have the choice to attend private or public school, or go to private hospitals. We do not have any less freedom than the US. Word. A well-regulated capitalist country with universal welfare is what we have, with options added on top. We don't have carnival all year long. There are no barely clothed people dancing samba on the streets all the time, and we definitely don't have monkeys on the streets. Thank you, Simpsons. Not everyone is good at soccer/football, and not everyone enjoys watching it. The girls here might be more comfortable with their body, but that doesn't make every girl a sex-hungry Latina. Prices on imported goods, especially electronics, are insanely high though. I can confirm that there are monkeys on the streets depending what city you live in. That every Indian speaks Hindi. Fact, there are 22 official languages and Hindi constitutes only 40%. A lot of people here in the US also get the name of the language wrong and call it Hindi . That's the majority religion on InjureXD. It's Serbia, not Siberia. Not everyone is good at skiing. We don't wear lederhosen and dirndl all the time, and schnitzel with noodles is a disgusting combination of food. Germany or Austria? Austria. We don't actually wear lederhosen all the time. What? Are you even a real Mexican? People always confuse Tower Bridge with London Bridge. If you want to see pictures of what Tower Bridge looks like, Google image search London Bridge. We have a lot more than 3 accents in this country. Despite what you see in American films, there are a lot more British people than just posh, Cockney or Scottish. They're also Welsh. So 4 accents. No, there is no siesta every single day, and we do not dress like bullfighters, nor like it much either. Also, paella is a dish from a very specific part of the country, nor the national dish eaten all over the place. So what's the deal with siesta then? I think that what happens is that businesses close a couple of hours at noon. It makes the impression they are closed, so people can take a siesta, even in offices. My sister has like 2 hours to lunch. That's a lot. Nobody in Ireland says top of the morning to yam, and nobody eats haggis. Isn't haggis Scottish? Yeah, it is, but people always mix them up and think Irish people eat it. I just think it's funny though, and a genuine mistake. 1. All of us are ginger, only 13% are. 2. All the men wear kilts. Do you have any idea how windy it is here? They are only ever seen at weddings, and even then, most of the men wear suits. 3. We all play the bagpipes. Very rare. Most people who can play an instrument just play the piano or guitar. 4. We are all alcoholics. Lots of people drink on weekends for fun. Admittedly, there are some people who do have a drinking problem. We aren't the worst for it though. I'm not trying to downplay these issues or anything BTW. 5. We are all aggressive. Glasgow was voted the world's friendliest city. 6. There is only one Scottish accent. The most famous is Glaswegian, which I have. There are several others. I don't think I sound anything like people from Edinburgh, for example. 7. We are all Highlanders. Most of us live in cities. 70% live in the central belt. 8. We eat haggis a lot. I've only heard of people eating it once per year. On Rabbie Burns Day, I'd say that roughly half of the population likes it, while the other half doesn't, though some haven't even tried it. I think it tastes good. People love to exaggerate. There's other foods with far more disgusting ingredients. Think that we pronounce about as a boot. Many seem surprised to learn that Canada has a queen. Americans somehow think that they can just move to Canada if they get sick of their own country, also assuming all Canadians are these inhumanly polite people for some reason. Yeah, there are exceptions like the entirety of Alberta. We don't all like tea and watch Doctor Who. We don't have poor dental hygiene as a collective either. British? Yes indeed. But this is more so an English thing. We aren't cold. We just are socially distanced a little more. Finland. It's really not that great. I often hear people saying, oh, I want to move to New Zealand. It's so beautiful, etc. etc. There's a lot of shit we got wrong. Really important shit. Like what? I hold that feeling about New Zealand. It's on our list to live there for a few months. Housing, price, quality and getting a house. Medical care, yes it costs less, but it's absolutely shit. Mental health care is basically non-existent. They like to say we have good mental health care but nope. Disability inclusion is disgusting here. Work environments are all sorts of fucked, and often people work hard jobs for peanuts. And it's also incredibly difficult to get and keep a job. There are many peaceful protests and strikes from many workers. Teachers, paramedics and nurses are only some. Prices are stupidly high. Average weekly groceries for 2 adults is about $150, and that's not eating properly. There's a lot of gang violence, drug and alcohol abuse, crimes, cops doing fucking nothing. I'm not Antifa or anything like that, I'm just being honest. Also most of our beaches are polluted, and if you swim there you'll probably get super sick and possibly die. And the ones that aren't polluted are so brutal you can't swim there anyways. Huge rip currents and waves that will knock you flat and drag you out before you knew what was going on. There's also a lot of quiet racism and homophobia. Surprisingly, not everyone in Britain says CHWY. Some of us actually have understandable accents. Many Americans are level-headed, friendly people who value science and critical thought. They don't get a lot of airtime however. It's a lot more fun to hate on loud idiots. Same for Russia. People tend to think that Russians are just mindless goons who drink vodka whole day. As such, people certainly exist. There are also a lot of very smart, educated people. As a Russian who lives in the US now, I must admit there are much more similarities between people in these countries than I could ever imagine. That's one thing I've noticed when comparing Russia and the US. We are really similar to each other, like siblings that were separated at birth or something. Bulgaria is a crime hellhole. Drugs, guns, whores and nukes you can buy on the many black markets. Why make more movies here. I like you Bulgarians. One of you shared their joint with me under a bridge while waiting for a train in Sofia. That it's all an amazing beautiful country, and we all live in picturesque mountain towns. Yes, Switzerland has beautiful places, but they're mostly a pain to get to and extraordinarily expensive to live in for what you get. Most people just live in cities or surrounding neighborhoods. The cities aren't even very big, and some such as Geneva are becoming increasingly poor places to live. I love this country, and it does a lot of things right. But there's a lot of crap you have to put up with living here, just to get some nice scenery. That it's illegal to chew gum here. It's not illegal to chew gum. It's just illegal to sell it here. Singapore? Bingo. Everyone thinks we want to marry a bag of potatoes. I'm gonna guess Ireland. I can't remember. I'm fucked out of my brains on whiskey. The average daytime temperature in Canada. I often wonder that, because Americans don't understand the Celsius system. They take out daily temp as Fahrenheit. OMG. It's July and I saw that it's only 28 in Vancouver today. I see a lot of people who think that us Americans are all just fat and lazy, but in reality, most of us are just broke and depressed. That Ireland is completely rural except for Dublin and everyone is ginger, which is actually kind of rare. Germans not having humor is not funny at all. I'm German. We don't say yum on at the end of every sentence. We don't live in huts on the beach. We all don't smoke weed. No, I don't know Usain Bolt personally. It's a pretty big island. Oh, so you're from Romania? I love Budapest. Apostrophe. You and I remember Budapest very differently. Apostrophe. Hong Kong. We are not China light. Wish you guys were free. That Sydney is the capital of Australia. I'm gonna blame the Olympics and Finding Nemo for this one. Also, you can reasonably road trip from Sydney to anywhere. Yeah, sure. You can drive from Sydney to Uluru or Kakadu. Have fun. I don't know that most people really believe it in earnest, but Australia is not particularly dangerous. Life expectancy is very high, and most people live in cities where they'll seldom see any especially dangerous creatures. As an Australian who worked for the EPA catching crocodiles, has been attacked by an emu and a cassowary. They didn't get me, though they tried. Have been kicked by a kangaroo. I slapped that bastard in the face and later someone shot him for getting uppity. Been bitten by numerous snakes and spiders, and encountered numerous crazy wildlife. This statement is true. I'm just privileged. This is just really my state, and not my country. But when I say I'm from New York, they always ask me what part of the city I'm from. I mean, I'm used to it now. But there is a lot more to New York State than just the city and Niagara Falls. You mean Brooklyn? Yeah, I know about Brooklyn. There's no polar bears here. Not everyone has sauna or even use one regularly. Not everyone are alcoholics. Not all are introverts. IDK if this is correct. But a lot of houses do have saunas here, and well, every house I've been in has had a sauna in it. People trying Vegemite for the first time think they should apply it to toast/bread/crackers in the same quantity as peanut butter or Nutella. Then wonder why they don't like it and we do. Only a light smear is needed. You should still be able to see the toast underneath. It doesn't snow in India. It does. That we call people cunt and it's socially acceptable. Australia? Yeah, look. If you call somebody a cunt, you're probably gonna get asked firmly to leave whatever venue you're in, or have people literally walk away from you in disgust. The word really isn't that common here in everyday language, it's just a meme. Canadians have more nice people than other countries. I find most people, at least in the city that I live in, are selfish and rude. I also worry about getting robbed and stabbed walking around at night. I have noticed this difference both through my own experience, a friend's experience, and news stories. It seems that the Canadian culture is generally that of treat foreigners like guests, i.e. treat them nicely, and locals don't get any special treatment. When I heard my Canadian friend's story of how his car crashed and he asked for help, and the local was literally like, no, he wasn't injured, but definition needed help with the car, I was flabbergasted. I, an American, couldn't fathom saying no to someone who needed help. But whenever I visit Canada, and they know I'm not Canadian, I'm treated super nice. And when other foreigners have problems in Canada, the locals go out of their way to help them out, like in that news story about the plane that had to get rerouted from New York City to a smaller town in Canada and detained for a couple weeks. That every guy from my country messages random white women on FB and asks them for bobs and vagina. Earth isn't a country. Us being all vampires. Romania, I hope to visit your country someday. Looks beautiful. The streets are paved with gold, got a lot of people here, only to be immediately disappointed in the shitty port cities. The states are just like any other country, just bigger. We ain't all men with mustaches and sombreros, and we all don't eat burritos and nachos. French fries are from Belgium, so is beer, chocolate, waffles, and so much more. Or that Belgium is the capital of Brussels. Where would you even get this? They usually think Colombia is a shithole where everyone is high on cocaine, robbing and murdering. They're right. Not many people wear berets at all. The baguette, stripy shirt, and garlic are all true though, and probably more common than in other countries. I used to wear a flat cap in high school, but not a beret. The French are the original Yorkshireman. Our Whippet's a popular breed of dog there too. One big one I see about the French are that they're rude. But in my experience it's more that you just don't put up with bullshit, lol. People always assume that all of Australia has the same climate. It's a huge continent. It's not all hot all the time. I even had a US Marine very confidently inform me that all of Australia only had a wet and a dry season. We were face to face. He had only been to the top end, where we were, but why would you be so confidently incorrect to the locals? I have a friend who drives a riverboat. He had an American tourist ask him what language they speak in Australia. After the shock wore off, he answered, "We speak Oka." Singapore. We are indeed authoritarian, relative to Western liberal democracies, but not as authoritarian as foreigners seem to think. Yes, jaywalking is illegal, as it is in most countries. And we do it anyway with no repercussions, as it is in most countries. Yes, chewing gum is technically banned. No. You won't get caned for smuggling chewing gum. It'll just be confiscated. If you try to lousily sneak large amounts on your person in from Malaysia, you can probably get away with a few sticks and chew on it at home. Yes, gay male sex is technically illegal, and I have giant issues with that law. But in all honesty, the law isn't enforced anymore. And even though Singaporeans are majority against LGBT rights, because of our very low levels of violence, it is a bizarre situation where most people silently disapprove, but your chances of being publicly confronted or assaulted for being openly gay are actually lower than in many countries with greater general LGBT rights and acceptance. It isn't perfect, but it's a place where archaic laws are kept in place for reasons like placating religious groups. But everyone knows which laws actually count and which don't. Also, I guess lastly, we are definition a wealthy city, and I'd say our poor may even be considered rich relative to developing nations. But crazy rich Asians' levels of ridiculous wealth is still the top 1%, maybe 2%. Wait, is female lesbian sex okay? Apparently, yes. As to why the law specifies between two men, you'd have to ask our dear British colonialists who wrote it in to begin with, although, interestingly, I've seen the theory that the law came about BC British civil servants sent here kept carousing with male prostitutes, which I imagine that their superiors did not like on account of them being married and also the possible STD transmission. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.